read the information about the Bill Cosby case, this recent release. So not to read it again, because I am coming to you from Habs TV and not Melon. I was doing before. I think I like this a little bit better because I have more, I have broader coverage. I now have the ability to not just do Facebook on my personal account and on the AdamsRib Media Ministry page. I'm able to come to you from YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. Um, Let me see, Twitch, Twitter, a few others. One of these, um, I'll look it up later and give you every channel that I'm coming live from. So, and Instagram. I'm able to come to you live from Instagram as well. So let me read this again. So let me see here. Mm-mm-mm-mm. So on June 30th, 2021, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court overturned Cosby's conviction, citing violations of his due process rights. According to Justice David Wecht, even though society has a strong interest in prosecuting crimes, it has an even stronger interest in ensuring that the constitutional rights of the people are vindicated. The following situation was cited. Previously in 2006, um, District Attorney Bruce Castor declared in a press release that due to insufficient evidence rendering a conviction attainable, he declines to authorize the filing of criminal charges against Cosby regarding allegations Andrea Constand made against him. Um, Castor said he did so to compel Cosby to testify in a civil lawsuit brought by Constand without the right to not incriminate himself according to the Fifth Amendment to the United States Constitution. So Constand would win damages from Cosby. So this was done so that he would be compelled to testify in the civil trial. Now, I used to think that people who went civil were after money. But then as I think, with maturity and the Holy Spirit, I realized that people go to civil court because the burden of truth is different. The burden of proof is different. So in a criminal trial, you have to be found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Whereas a civil trial, it's by the preponderance of the evidence as to whether or not they find you guilty. Um, of course, and then civil trials are usually about assessing damages and everything too. So Cosby testified that he had given Constant Benadryl and that he had separately provided quaaludes to women he wanted to have sex with. He settled the civil lawsuit by paying 3.38 million. Um, as 6 of the 7 Pennsylvania Supreme Court justices interpreted Castor's 2005 press release as a promise not to prosecute him, leading to Cosby providing testimony in his civil suit that was later used as key evidence in his criminal trial, resulted in him being convicted of assaulting Constant. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court concluded that Cosby's due process rights were violated. The court later barred prosecution of Cosby on these particular charges, so he won't be prosecuted on those charges again. Cosby was released from jail on the same day his conviction was overturned. He served nearly 3 years before the Supreme Court overturned his conviction. Now, I'm not surprised that he didn't do the whole term because, you know, be 80 years old and everything. But um, do I won't. I'm not saying DL was right because he was one of the people who seemed to believe that Bill Cosby was guilty. Okay, him being released, and I said it yesterday in my podcast, was not about whether or not he was guilty. He got released because his due process rights were violated because they came after him after saying that they wouldn't come after him. Um, like I said, for me, him being released, I'm like, if he's guilty of what he's been accused of, then yeah, he deserves to be in there 80 years old or not. However, if he's not guilty and 51 women coming forward, that's a lot of people coming forward. I just have to say that. So I haven't looked up. I'm gonna look up and see what else awaits him because I don't know that they're completely done with him yet. Okay, so just because he came out this time doesn't mean that they are completely done with him. Okay, and like read a lot of women's blogs and different ones that that talk to that pro and con. Um, like I said before, the only thing when you say that he's the fall guy because he's black, then you dredge up black people's memories of stuff like Emmett Till and different other cases where black men have been falsely accused and got either railroaded by the system or murdered. Um, Unfortunately, those were people who were completely innocent. Okay. Not people who were in compromising situations, and it was a matter of whether or not the victim consented. So when I talk about that, and I've had to talk about that a lot lately because of a situation that I had to leave in a church and telling people, okay, in order for there to be consent, the victim has to consent. Um, a a coerced yes is a no. Coerced sex is rape. So if you're pressing somebody, it is still rape because the person isn't giving you an enthusiastic yes. They're not, so there's a whole lot of layers there when you're talking um, about whether or not something constitutes rape. Underage is a no. If a person is not of the legal age to be able to consent with you, then it's a no. They can't consent. Under the law, they can't consent. A person who is passed out can't consent. No one else can consent to you having sex with anybody. Consent has to come from you. Okay, and I'm saying this because I've had to deal with some stuff out of